Hey all, um, good evening, good morning to another Lights On discussion session. And this week we'll be discussing the great Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times. So we have Vijay and Vikram with us. So Vijay, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so Charlie Chaplin's right. So Charlie Chaplin is has been like the iconic filmmaker, actor, or whatever, like whatever he has done. He's a complete package that we have known, and he's a legend. Modern times. So if I want to talk about modern times, like I actually hadn't watched the complete movie before you actually decided to make this a topic of discussion, right? I just saw the movie till I think maybe first half. That's it. After that, I don't know why I did not watch or something, but those scenes I still remember, like they are just imprinted. Whatever the first half is there, it is the industry, he's doing all that stuff, right? So he gets arrested and all that. So that is kind of whenever I just see a frame, okay, this is this movie, like, so very few movies I recognize, and this is one of those movies. um then apart from that, like, uh, he's he's other movies also, right? Like City Lights and other stuff. I think one more with the dog. So that one I have watched. But yeah, obviously, yeah, this whole Charlie Chaplin is he is like kind of what Hitler is for violence. Charlie Chaplin is for like comedy. So so this yeah, I don't know, like where to start. This is what I wanted to just start, but I will add on further. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So Modern Times is one of those films that I wanted to watch for a long time. It is somehow it kept eluding me. Um, Interestingly, my first experience of Charlie Chaplin was The Great Dictator, and the way I watched Great Dictator was so I watched Triumph of the Will, the Leni Riefenstahl documentary about Nazi Germany, Hitler, and the Triumph of the Will. And while reading about Triumph of the Will, I saw that Hitler watched Triumph of the Will, and Charlie Chaplin watched Triumph of the Will, and he wanted to make a film as a response to Triumph of the Will, and he made Great Dictator. So, and I watched Great Dictator, and I mean, it's one of the best films. And our last that I think is one of my last discussions in Lights On when we had it at office. So we did a double feature, Triumph of the Will and Great Dictator together. We did it in the Lights On discussion at office, and that was my first experience of Charlie Chaplin. The By that point, Chaplin had realized that the Trump character that he's famous for, right? That was probably the final film for the Trump character, because uh, I mean. Talkie is kind of now forced on him. He cannot just stick to silent film. So that was my first experience. And Modern Times is something that I wanted to watch for a long time, but never got the chance. And it was the um, the first was the first half of the film was, for me, it was very it was funny, definitely funny, but it's the second half where I started laughing out loud, especially the dance sequence scene, and when he tries to bring the roasted duck, and how he's taken with the dancers around that dance floor. The way that whole scene is choreographed is outstanding, and his singing. The I mean, we're um, um, you know, anyone who listens to Tamil film music in the 2000s will be very familiar with the gibberish portions in songs. And this gibberish song that he sings, actually, I did not even know that it is gibberish. I thought it is proper some French or Italian, or a mix of that. But apparently, it is the whole singing sequence is gibberish. I was just laughing out loud for that portion. The the part that made me very sad about the film is the relevance of the first 1 hour. How industries work, how the character is institutionalized in punching in and punching out, which are very familiar to lot of people, because your attendance is tracked, the number of hours you spend at work is tracked. So the relevance of such things in a 1930s film was making me very sad. Then the part that very interesting thing that I really loved, so there is the scene sequence where the assembly line is there, and his work is to tighten the screws, right? Now, I don't know whether it is I don't think it is the same clip that gets repeated. Okay, so I think they have shot the whole sequence, right? Now, Charlie Chaplin does not miss even a single uh, single nut. Okay, so you see him. Um, I don't know how fast that assembly line is, because the thing is, I read that they shot the film in 18 frames per second, and when they added the sound, it became kind of 24 frames per second. So basically, the I think more than what the picture is actually a lot more slower if you just look at the whatever was the version that they shot. But the even in that case, right, the meticulousness in making sure that every bolt is tightened, that is outstanding. I For some reason, that frame of him not missing something, right, the moment he misses that, the character goes to the he moves around to ensure that is tightened. That is great meticulousness that I'm it's something very small, but somehow that made a huge impact on me. How meticulous he is in doing everything. Um, and the lunch break scene, that I loved that portion. I mean, that portion where they bring a machine which can you don't have to move from your spot. The lunch will be served to you by the machine. And that whole sequence, how it happens, that is ridiculously funny. The part that I loved was there is this wooden thing which comes and wipes your mouth. So after every after every meal, the wooden thing comes, and the way they have shaped it, just similar. It's kind of shaped like a mouth. So it moves in kind of a swaying motion. Wiping your mouth. That was very hilariously done. That was outstanding. I had a great I had a great experience watching it, which is where something that I've been missing in films is this kind of an experience watching the that that making a good film, bad film is just one thing, but that giving that kind of an experience, making you just pulling you into that world, and making you think about how it is done, and making you yearn for films like that. I think that's what I loved it. I was so happy that we chose this film.
I'm happy that you are able to like it so much. And so, from me, one unpopular opinion, I'm not a big fan of Charlie Chaplin. I don't know why. For some reason, I, Nagesh has started doing Charlie Chaplin kind of things, right? I like Nagesh a lot. So, and we have seen Nagesh a lot. So that I feel that Nagesh is the Charlie Chaplin for us, for people who know Tamil. And the first film I watched also was Great Dictator, which is an amazing film. Especially the last speech portion, right? That was amazing. And but when I watched Modern Times, I couldn't rewatch it now. When I watched Modern Times earlier, it didn't have that much impact as Great Dictator. And probably the problem was I watched it too soon after watching Great Dictator. These films are any of the Charlie Chaplin's films you shouldn't binge. I didn't binge, but I watched it when I still remember Great Dictator. Maybe if I had watched, my opinion could have slightly changed, but still, what I feel is after watching those two films, I watched it in reverse direction. I watched General and I watched Duck Soup. So General is before this, and Duck Soup is earlier to that, I guess. Duck Soup, I don't know whether it's silent or not. Uh, so those two films, I love General a lot. Like if it's silent films, it's General for me. And and I found I'm not sure whether I'm not keen on the physical comedy, right? Which you use your body and show that. I think that doesn't work for me. In general, it's the environment and the objects and all that give that humor more than this. And general is the scale is amazing. The way I can't still believe that none of it is graphics yet. So that's why it's amazing. Duck Soup also, we would have seen a lot of scenes from Duck Soup in the comedy movies later. And that's why Duck Soup also was amazing. But given all that, the main drawback of not liking Charlie Chaplin as much as I would have wanted is Nagesh. Nagesh single-handedly spoiled me from liking Charlie Chaplin. But whenever I think of Charlie Chaplin, I wanted to ask this. I don't know the history behind it, so I wanted to ask. There's a lyric in Dil, right? Hitler Kalatil Charlie Chaplin Dil. What does that really mean? What did he do around that period to be that guy who stood out?
So uh, the shorter answer is, so there is so much similarity between Hitler and Chaplin. I was very curious and I was just reading about that. So Chaplin and Hitler were just born 4 days apart. Okay, they had a very similar upbringing, and after a particular point, their life, I mean, it's completely two different lives, but the broader aspects are very similar. The poverty that they started, and the fame that they had. Now, the specifically, Charlie Chaplin made films uh, supporting, socialism, I mean the communism, and the worker rights, trade unions, and all that. Modern Times is one of the foremost, I mean, one of the films that criticized the industrial world. Now, the Hitler and the Nazi Germany, they came to power, uh, saying that they are the alternative to communism, and so that's how they came to power, and so they banned the film. So they banned the film in Germany. Now the earlier thing that I said about Great Dictator, right? See, and the most important thing is they both looked very alike. Two people of kind of a short stature and similar mustache. So it's very similar. I mean, um, very similar in physical appearance, which is what tempted Charlie Chaplin to make Great Dictator, and but the main reason is, they were trying to, there were two different campaigns. One is Nazi Germany, and the uh, Goebbels and the propaganda part of the Nazi Germany, they somehow assumed that Charlie Chaplin was Jewish, and they were trying to they were doing smear campaigns against him. And on the other hand, inside America, post World War II, there is this something called as a McCarthyism that became very popular. As a congressman or a senator, Joseph McCarthy, he started saying that he has the list of all communists living in America. And so Charlie Chaplin, I think he never applied for American citizenship. He was a British citizen living in US, I think. So he had to be granted. They at a particular point they revoked entry into the US and all that, and they named him as a communist. In that there is this committee that they formed called House Un-American Activities Committee, and you would have seen this in a lot of films. Very very famously, the film Trumbo, about the great screenwriter Jason Trumbo, who wrote the Audrey Hepburn Gregory Peck film. I'm not.
Spartacus, right?
Which one?
He wrote Spartacus also, right? Trumbo.
Spartacus also he wrote. Yeah, Spartacus, and that the other film, the Audrey Hepburn Gregory Peck film. What is the name of it? I'm not able to recollect it. So he wrote that film, and he did not see it won an Academy Award too, but his name will not appear in the credits because he wrote it. He kind of ghost wrote the film. So posthumously they gave him the Academy Award for that film, and they credited him with the screenplay later. So that film Trumbo, where Bryan Cranston plays Trumbo, that film covers this whole thing. And if you see 1992 film Chaplin by Richard Attenborough, so that also covers some portions of it. The McCarthyism and the FBI under Edgar Hoover, how they target Charlie Chaplin for his communist links. So that is how Chaplin political messaging in his films is what but the biggest guts that he had is at that point taking on Hitler that way, right? That is something else. That is something else. That song, I think actually it captures that perfectly. Hitler Kalatil, Charlie Chaplin, it captures it beautifully.
But he had made movies for Hollywood or for some
Hollywood. So I think, I think he, I think 1910s or mid 1910s to 1940s to 50s is how his entire era was. The I think he was he was not a big fan of. I think he started in the silent era, and sound and talkie is something that I think he was completely against that, because he felt like talkie takes away the connect that he had with international audience. The moment the Trump starts talking, you start putting a the moment the Trump starts talking English, you'll start becoming he'll keep showing that he's not a he starts distancing himself from you. So that is something that he was worried, it seems. But yeah, that times were changing, so he had to he wanted to. It's very hard to. Great Dictator was the film where it became a talkie, because he just could not write that film, as a silent film, but still he had the tramp kind of the tramp character in the barber, the tramp characteristics in the barber character, and but it's yeah, it's the arc is a very interesting arc, how he because this is the first, apparently this is the first film, modern times is the first film where we hear his voice for the first time. So before that, we the audience never heard his voice. It is the singing portion that he has at the end, right? That is the part where we hear his voice for the first time.
When you say that the aspects which was happening there about punching and punching out is still relevant, one thing I remember in our bulletin board is someone had mentioned about ACs in the like IT sector, and someone had mentioned you guys would have AC, at least the condition of working is better. Then someone else had replied to that. Please understand that AC is not for us; it's for the computers. It's such a valid point. Like they don't want the computers to fail, right? That's why they are having AC, just like how they are having for server room.
Yeah, even the first intro, right? I think intro he shows all the people coming in. I think, and then sheep also after that. That as well. That way of editing at that time itself was so great. I mean,
The biggest surprise for me in the opening credits was music. I never knew that Charlie Chaplin composed music for his films. That was the music was amazing. It's very very it really sets the mood. It really takes you through that uh, journey. I was very surprised by that, actually.
The production design is also very good, right? So for the not only the real things which are shown in the movie. I think the first shot where there will be industry at the background, that's graphics, or I think board, but still that would look very good. Uh,
Yeah.
so better than the graphics which is coming nowadays, right? It's better than that. So that the product look like a high value product, whatever we are seeing on screen. I don't know how much budget was that. I thought it was something on low budget only, but looked like not. Or maybe they had some way to make it look rich. I don't know.
So
no, I think the kind of techniques that they use, right? Like nowadays we saw in the reels, the illusion that he created when he is doing the skating part and he's trying to fall, right? That part is it's kind of an illusion. I don't know what kind of that you see on the side you will see all the pieces, but at one angle you will see all of them joined and giving a correct picture. So that those kind of techniques they use, like there are so many, like even Alfred Hitchcock used a lot of miniatures, right, that time. So yeah, I mean, such kind of techniques are really
DVD
great to hear.
During the DVD days with the film, there used to be an alternative soundtrack with commentary about film, where we would be knowing every aspect of filmmaking, or there would be critics talking about why the scene is famous and all that. Uh, Now that we don't have time to watch that, that's a different thing. But even if someone wants to watch that, I don't know whether there is something specifically like which runs throughout the film and there is a commentary for it. I don't know whether it even exists now.
Criterion has it for the old films, classics. I tried watching one such for 400 Blows. After watching the film, there is famous critics commentary on 400 Blows. It is, yeah, it's little bit hard to watch that kind of a commentary these days. I would rather prefer them taking scene by scene and talking about that. Is I mean, that's just a personal preference, but I
Yeah,
tried watching it. It's very
depends
hard.
on the commentator as well as like what film it is also. Personally, I don't like directors talking about the film. I like critics talking about the film better than what directors do. That's especially I now that I say that, I remember one scene where in I don't remember. There's a Chinese film which got famous because of it got dubbed in Tamil, but it's actually a uh, Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Crouching
Dragon.
Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay.
Okay, so I think there is I think it's that film. I don't remember it. So there's a critic who was talking about the film, and there's a scene where the hero and heroine would be on top of each other, either to kiss or after some fight they would have fallen on each other, I think. And at that point they would be crying. Okay, they need to cry, and it was told that apparently they were great actors and there was no glycerin used. But the greatest thing among that is, now, if a person is like that to the screen, right? One's left profile and one's right profile is visible. So apparently for that scene, looks like whatever eye is visible to the screen, only from that eye, both of them got tears. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. That's what critics can do to the film. Even if it's not really true, it still would be wonderful to hear.
Wow. that is that is that is that is amazing. Uh the um the I, in modern times, right? I loved one more scene. It was very um, very naturally done, which is the scene where he gets mingled in the procession, the demonstration that happens, where he'll be holding the he'll get to hold the flag, and then he'll start waving that flag for some reason, and the process, the demonstration, the worker demonstration starts, and he starts walking in front of them. The that the way that whole sequence was, it's kind of, it's all choreography, right? So the way the whole thing was choreographed was, I really loved it, how they are, um, the because sometimes it's comedy is how you choreograph the simplest of things, right? I mean, you put together 4 or 5 things coming together.
Yeah,
Arun,
my
I'm
bad.
just going to mute one of your, okay, just mute one of that, Arun. So that, how that whole thing was choreographed, I really loved that particular scene.
Yeah,
I think
actually, when I saw that scene, there is one.
choreographed, I think. Yeah, go ahead, Vijay.
Okay. No, I wanted to mention one of the like Kannada films from Jaggesh. If you have heard, like he's one of the comedy actors. So he's one of the old films. There they use this whatever you told, right? Where he's standing in the front and some people are coming and he will be arrested. So this part they have used it. So I was okay, mind blown that even now people are using his techniques or whatever.
Kamal Hassan and all openly accepts that he copies from Charlie Chaplin. There is no shame in that, actually. If you can recreate this, it's amazing. It's just like how, see, if you are gonna play a Mozart piece, it's you are a great player, right? It doesn't mean that you are copying.
The,
Yeah, it's kind of basics.
the funny bit was actually Barfi. Barfi, Bar, Barfi is actually a very good film. But what happened was, Barfi was sent as India's official submission to the Oscars, and it has see, you can get away with saying that the portions where the police officer and Ranbir's character, the comic sequences are straight out of a Charlie Chaplin film, You can say that those are homage to Charlie Chaplin, but there is a rip off of a scene. I don't remember which.
Sofa scene, I think. Sofa scene where they jump. I don't know
Ah,
whether it's a sofa scene is, I think, taken from Singing in the Rain.
singing
It
in that.
actually
Okay.
feels like a Charlie Chaplin-esque movie.
Okay. Okay. There is some other. There is one scene where I think there is that the whole sequence is from some other Hollywood film. I don't remember the name of that film, and they sent it to Oscar. I don't know what. I don't know what they cut.
But actually, the scenes work in Buffy. It
Yeah,
works. As a film also, it works. The
yeah.
Japanese techniques also it works. It's very difficult to pull off uh, that scenes because if there is a person who's going to do that, he shouldn't look macho. So to shed that image and do that, like Ranbir did a very good job in that, I feel.
Yeah. So I was actually amazed by um, three three characters who tried what Chaplin was doing in Indian cinema. I mean, two people. Since I'm more familiar with Tamil. Of course, Nagesh came to my mind immediately. The sequences in Sarvar Sundaram where he brings out that's very that was very similar to this the scene at the end of modern times. So that one, then Kamal's portrayal of a Charlie Chaplin like character in Punnagai Mannan was outstanding, and of course the way Ranbir executed that sequences in Barfi was s- the I mean the other two, at least we now know what the versatile actors they are. Ranveer doing that is really amazing. I mean, that really shows that he can be that good. That is.
That good. The problem is he only repeats what is the most uh, effective or something you associate with Ranbir, right? That's what he keeps
Yeah,
on.
he's also affected with that Bollywood disease, right? But
Probably.
but I think he's one of those actors, one of the nepotism, whatever actor, right, who has come out from the same family and all that, who got the privileges of getting into the industry without any struggle. But he deserves whatever he's doing it. I don't see any other actor like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His wife is also one prime example. She's also brilliant. But there
Yeah,
are there
but
are
still,
there are there are people, but the thing is, uh, like he can do like, but he fell into a template. That's the problem with him.
yeah, he created his own. See, his father, his grandfather is so many like kind of great actors, but he created his own kind of thing. I don't see Siddharth Malhotra and whatever whoever comes, right. There is nothing like that exploration or something. Yeah,
See, this kind of um, the comic effect that comes out on screen, right? It's uh, I, I don't know. It's like um, so I my wife and I we rewatch this series called Modern Family. Almost on a daily basis. We watch one episode. I mean, we have been watching at least one episode a day for the last couple of years. It's almost for the last couple of years. We watch at least one episode a day or at least a clip without fail. The way the sequences are written, right, at least in the uh, Friends and all the sitcoms that you see, uh, the comedy is predominantly through dialogue and all that, right? Now, from that to a series like Modern Family, where it's a lot of situational comedy, and the situational comedy needs to be written the sequences have to be written well. That's there is a very there's an amazing sequence in Modern Family where the family is trying to unknowingly they are trying to hide from each other. They are in the same city, but they have lied to each other that the father and mother has traveled. They lied to the children that they have traveled back to California, but they still are in New York. And the children are also in. They are supposed to travel in the next flight, but they also stay in New York. So it's like unknowingly they try to run away from, lie to each other. The whole sequence, how it is done, right? So seamless. You'll see one they'll be living in the they'll be staying in the rooms that are opposite to each other, but that you will see one person coming out of one room and the other person going inside. There are situations where the door will be open on both the rooms, but they'll not see. It is very hard to actually write that kind of a sequence. That scene that I was talking about, how the whole procession comes together and Charlie Chaplin hits that procession, right? It really reminded me of all those scenes. The Some of the funniest bits in Tamil involved that kind of scene. You right from Kamal and Crazy Mohan combination films to Sundar C's Ullathe Elitha is a great example of that kind of a uh, that the I mean those comedies work because there is a seamless there is a seamless writing to that. How that situation comes together. That's amazingly done in modern times.
Yeah. So that reminds me, any time someone talks about the comedy due to the situation, the first thing which comes to my mind is the Vachalo Vakyamu Ponalu song. So it's amazingly written. Even the beats would follow the actions which is happening on it. And good that you reminded me of Modern Family. Like so, one of the very few series which I watched and I enjoyed without any prediment and thinking too much about it. But still, there were a lot of scenes sequences which had great writing. One is the scene in the restaurant. They would be talking something about someone, but totally something else would be happening. And that is for writing. And for editing, there's a scene where each of them would be FaceTiming each other. Like the
Wow,
one whole episode like that's the best episode of the
that's
last
the
week.
best episode. Yeah.
Why then? Arun is
Arun?
waiting.
Hey, hi. For me, modern times work very well. Actually, it was like a dystopian comedy, like dark comedy sort of thing. I enjoyed like that. There is one quote I think when everything in the society is like made to put in like standard like level, the only thing left to do is like break the rules like that. This was like that only. Everything he described is still relevant and like the the sequence will be like the first he'll be working and then some point there will be like work more like increase the speed like that. He'll be doing like this and continuously and his hands also will be like that only. It was like very cool. I found it like he made all the bad things happening together to like sweet and everything can be all the things were said was also relevant now also. I found it very yeah super answer. I found it very cool and a lot of things work for me. The cute love story also yeah, that usually the heroine is like genuinely a level of uh, kind of thing, but in this one I found it like this. Both people are sweet to each other. Uh, I enjoyed the movie. I might have watched it, two three clips in the reels and such, but this is the first time I'm watching a full movie of the Charlie Chaplin. I found it awesome. Good watch.
I loved one bit about so there is this concept of an American dream that generally people talk about, and that if you have watched It's a Wonderful Life, right? You'll know that the most important piece of that American dream is owning a house. Okay, so now the it's very funny that when Charlie Chaplin's character and the heroine character, when they sit and talk, I think almost for the first time, and they talk about getting a house.
House,
That's the first thing that they they speak about. And the moment he comes out of jail, the first place where she takes him to is a home. Now,
Oh,
very interestingly, they don't show Charlie Chaplin's character having any kind of a home until that point. So it's more like you see him in the factory, you see him in procession, you see him in prison, but you don't see him in any kind of a home. And that sequence inside that house was outstandingly done. It has. Uh, Actually, more than the first time when he enters and he breaks every the it's a very dilapidated house, right? It starts breaking apart, and that more than that sequence, I love the sequence where
she'll
the
make tea, right?
as she'll make bread and tea,
Ah,
and he the first time he starts, he's about to eat, the chair goes down, and then they shift the table, and when he tries to eat it, the bread is too large for his mouth, so he takes one slice out and just eats it. And that sequence was very beautifully done. And that is an amazing satire on that American dream of owning a house, and that part is very very beautifully done. And one more thing is, I forgot about when I was talking earlier, is the prison sequence. So one trivia that I saw is, this is the first time. The Motion Pictures Association had this thing called as a production code, where what you can show on screen and what you cannot show basically are similar to our censorship rules. Now, in the previous Lights On sessions, I think especially during the Alfred Hitchcock session, we spoke about you cannot show characters kissing for more than 6 seconds or 10 seconds, something like that. So Alfred Hitchcock broke that he made that whole rule meaningless by uh, uh, by staging a scene where the
passing it.
characters kiss for 10 seconds, then there is a dialogue, then they kiss for 10 seconds, then there is a dialogue, then they kiss for 10 seconds, like that. So something similar to that is, so that scene where he consumes cocaine or some kind of a drug, right? Where he puts it on his nose and all that inside the prison. So that is probably the first time he attempted something like kind of violating that production code. Showing illegal drug use on screen was prohibited at that point, but he actually broke that.
See,
And
in that one, the dialogue was also written like differently, right? It was not mentioned as drug and all. It was like some powder, like something. It was nice actually. I saw it.
yeah, but it is drug, right? Because he starts
Yeah.
behaving differently after using that
Yeah, it was mentioned as nose powder. I
nose
remember
powder.
it now. Yeah.
And there is one more thing I really loved is, so they show he's inside a prison, right? He's inside a cell, and on his cell there is a board that says "Home Sweet Home." And the first time they tell him, hey, you're released, you don't have to stay here. He's like, oh no, I've become so comfortable here. And that that theme of that character, wanting to feel wanting to feel like he's belonging in somewhere, that feeling of home that character wants, right? That is evident throughout that film. It's that I found that really amazing.
Yeah, that part I also like very much. It was like he made best out of the situation. Right? When, like if when the first time he sees a girl, she'll be stealing some bread. He'll be like, take me," and then they would have again went to the girl, and he will again go and make them both eat good food and like, yeah, there is no food. Come on. Then he'll be also few other people also waiting. He'll be like, yeah, come on, take it. And then they will also go and give the amount. And he'll again as a policeman like, yeah, no amount is there. Pay him. So he'll finally take them. It was like so sweet. And also it's like now we can't even make such films, huh? Like actual problems we can't address it without like getting political about it. It was like how they are able to do it is awesome. In that time itself, at the time the world war is also happening, right? So like it should be like wild times.
One more
So
scene
now,
that I remember, I'll just tell that quickly. So that my favorite bit that I was talking about, right? That ending scene where he misses the that roast duck is. I mean, he's taken around the dance floor, and finally he gets brings that plate, and the duck is missing. So his first instinct is to look into his pants to see if the duck is there. That is a callback to a previous scene where he puts the food inside his pant because he does not have any other pockets. So he puts that bread and the sandwich that the heroine makes for him. And after when he knows that the factories are opening, right? So he puts the bread inside his pant and he goes to work. So now when the roasted duck is missing, his first instinct is to just look in his pants if that is there. I love that scene. I mean, that whole sequence I was just laughing so much for that.
So any films apart from Great Dictator and Modern Times have you guys watched?
I watched his first film, right? I think The Kid.
Kid,
I think it is the first film or something.
no, but yeah, Kid I remember.
It is, yeah. So
It
that
is,
that was that is also good.
yeah. I think it's kind of personal story also, is it? I remember reading it somewhere.
Um, I don't know. I think he's just taking care of a kid or something. That's it. Yeah, I'm not sure of that. Mm.
And all the films which Charlie Chaplin acted was directed by him, no? Or most of the films.
I don't think so. I think his directorial films are. I think it's less only. It's not.
Film is directed by him, right?
This was
No, all
modern.
the films are directed by him, right?
All the films are directed by him. Oh no, I did not know that. Okay.
No, I think so. Like that. That is how it is. Whatever you see in the movies, he's directed by and he's
No, no,
commissioned.
no. He directed only 10 or 12 films. That Kid is directed, like you said. Kid, Gold Rush, City Lights, Modern Times. All the films that are very, very the classic films are all directed by him. But I don't know
Mm.
if he directed everything. That is the part I. There are other films where he just acted too.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
whatever films you were telling, and I watched all these parts. I mean, past. His best is I like Great Dictator. My favorite is Great Dictator, but I think it's his best is City Lights, I guess, right? Most of the
yeah.
people tell City Lights as
Yeah.
the. I think Miskin also used to tell City Lights earlier
ஆமா
because
அவரு
some of
Yeah,
the.
yeah. The emotional part is very strong in that. Yeah.
yeah, I do
But
want to watch
when
City Lights. I haven't. That's another film. Uh, I hope I don't wait for another 4 5 years for us to choose another Chaplin film in the discussion and watch it.
Don't watch it immediately as well. Like I told, if you have that thing at the back of the mind, right? You first of all can't differentiate which scene is from which film. So you have to like the horrid IT term, you have to unlearn and learn. You have to
Yeah,
unremember and watch
yeah,
again.
yeah. That's true. Mm.
one more person, I mean, I got to know recently that Buster Keaton, right? I've never watched his movies. He's
You're
also
not
very
watched
similar.
it, brother.
Never read. I just saw all these reels and all that. But
That's what I
uh,
initially like after watch you watch General is chanceless. You can't even imagine that all these scenes were really made. That would
General.
earlier to Chaplin.
What's the movie name you said?
General.
General. Okay.
Did we discuss a Buster Keaton film?
I think General we have done.
General we did. Okay.
I think after a long time we are having full English conversation, I guess. And it reminds me of like old lights on days where we used to have focused conversations. And then it's good that we kind of reduce the time of discussion so that the topics are coming in more swift and fast.
Super.
I think if we are good, we can wrap it up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Vijay, Arun, and Vikram. This was an amazing discussion. We will be discussing. So the next session is going to be 2 weeks later on 16th March. It is at 8:30 p.m. IST. So we'll be discussing. So Vikram mentioned a statement that this was a full English discussion. Now 16th March, I think it will be the opposite of that. It is, but we are continuing with this comedy theme. So we'll be discussing Imse Arasan Irvati Mundram Puligesi, the famous Tamil film. So do watch the film and see you all on 16th March. And just a note, we all these lights on discussions, we are available in YouTube and Spotify. So in case whatever is your if you get to watch these discussions in YouTube and you feel it's very long, you can just hop over to Spotify and it'll be just the audio. You can just listen to it, whenever you are driving and all that. So just wanted to say that. So next week is there's no discussion next week. So 16th March we'll be doing Imse Arasan Irvati Mundram Puligesi, and see you all.
Hey, bye. Hey, subs were very cool, actually. I watched the last video. Very nice. You did anything, or it's like done by YouTube?
YouTube only. I did not.
Subtitles.
No.
Okay.
We don't have time to do all that. So
Okay. It was
Okay.
pretty cool. I was like watching, and I thought someone of it will get caught. It was like close.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice. Super, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.